hello, and thank you for joining another segment of On Purpose podcast. I am Thawana, and this is On Purpose, and we're so glad that you're here. Remember to like, to share, and to leave a comment if you wish, and to also subscribe. So again, this is Thawana, and we're here again with James Presley.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! Virtual applause.
Sometimes when your fire goes out, you have the right plug plugging it into the wrong socket.
That's good. That's simply all it is.
There's nothing wrong with you and your plug. You're just trying to plug into the wrong outlet, and it does not fit nor work.
That is so good.
That was 2 years of going through the most difficult time, faith walk of my life. When I thought something was wrong with me, but I was trying to plug into the wrong outlet.
The wrong outlet.
I found the right outlet.
Wow, you did.
I found the right outlet.
You are great. I've been to the school. I've been to the school, and you, the staff, you are graced for this.
It's the right outlet.
It's the right outlet. So do you see yourself? You don't see yourself. You don't have an interest for any other type of learning. Do you?
I have an interest right now in leading the charge to shift the system.
Okay, got
that
it.
includes all learners.
Inclusivity.
So that when we say no one left behind, the essence of our behaviors line up with that clarion call.
Gotcha.
Instead of it being a nice slogan, however, we have local, regional practices and laws that will leave certain groups behind on purpose.
On purpose.
So right now, to answer that very profound question, this is my 29th and a half year in education.
Wow.
At the end of this school year, I'll be at 30. I could make some decisions either way, but I find that I can't sleep at night because now the practices bother me. What I know exists. And I am willing, if I have to go alone, to go into the lion's den and challenge these practices that hold some individuals back while creating opportunities for others.
Wow.
So I've just recently left the lion's den, and I came out not smelling like smoke. And I don't care of the perception. And now, instead of avoiding the fight, I welcome it.
You welcome it.
The reason I welcome it because the character and integrity that the Lord has allowed me to lead over the years with should and does, in some cases, should speak for itself when you just go to work and you're not in all of the other stuff. But this is what the Lord told me as far as having regional impact with these systems. That it's not about you. It's about students that you may never meet.
Wow.
Parents you may never meet. Coming from places you may never visit.
Yes.
I asked the Lord, why do you have this on my heart and my mind? Why? And that's what he said to me. But first, before he told me that, he said, every student needs an advocate.
Everyone does.
Every student needs an ambassador. Someone who will fight on their behalf, even if they don't know him, because it's right to do so.
Yeah, don't need to know him.
And what better place to do it than in Florida, where we're strengthening these non-traditional schools that sometimes, unfortunately, are misused as a place to send students who are non-traditional, so that life can be easy for leaders that don't have this vision.
Right.
Their vision is to receive a letter from the state of Florida that doesn't mean nothing.
Nothing.
Because I've learned that you can have a letter from the state, but your culture does not match the letter that the state gave you. You just learn how to play the game. I'm not interested in playing some game. I'm interested in that a student can open their eyes to get ready for school with the hope that they can go to school and learn something to help them with what they were born into.
Wow.
And it starts from leadership down. And it's the fear that comes along with not worrying about an A or B or C or whatever grade is tough for administrators, because we think that letter is going to determine our livelihood. Are they going to fire me or get rid of me? But to me, it's deeper than that. Because what profit an administrator to gain an A or B school and then die and don't hear these words, well done, thy good and faithful servant?
Wow.
Because that's what I'm living for now.
Wow.
Well done. In every area, well done.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm living for.
Like, that's how you wrap this conversation. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this. I think that I hope that you all have been able to listen at what James has talked about and understand that fear is okay, but you don't have to sit in it. It doesn't have to control you, but you do have to put in some work.
Yeah.
You owe you to work.
I have to say this because it was given to me when I was thinking about the invitation to come in the segment, that word fear is commotion, it's chaos, it's opposition, it's aggression. So the Bible talks about this story where this man brings his son to Jesus who has been possessed. And he tells Jesus that his disciples could not deliver his son. He brings his son to Jesus and he says, if you be able to do anything with him. And there's a translation, the Message translation said that when he said that to Jesus, Jesus said, if.
If. What do you mean if?
If is the definition of fear and everything that comes behind it. If I make this move and it fails. If I move right now and I can't do it. If I go out here and do what I sense God is calling me to do and nobody comes. If I build this on purpose studio and nobody comes and sits down. If is the definition of fear.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that?
He said, if is not for those who believe. When he said if, he said if is not a word for believers. Wow. It's in the Message Bible. It's right in the scriptures. Mark Excuse me.
He's gonna find it.
Somebody need to hear this
Somebody
before we
needs to
close.
hear this.
It's in my notes, so it's sitting right here.
Wow.
I want to give them this because it helps. Because if Mark chapter 9, verse 21 through 24, Jesus said, if there are no ifs among believers, anything can happen if thou believes.
Oh.
And before he helps the son, he deals with the fear. He don't even help the son is still under this control.
Yeah.
But Jesus always addresses the priority of the matter. It's the fear. Because if I don't deal with this man's fear, I can release his son from this bondage.
Yeah.
But it just be another cycle.
Yes.
He'll get hit again.
Yes.
So
let me deal with this fear.
let me deal with this fear first. Because your son is not the only one being controlled.
Ooh.
You brought your son to me like you didn't have an issue.
But you
have an issue.
You in bondage too.
You in bondage more than your son.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so if
out the door.
It's done.
It's out the door. But the problem is when you make the move and you move in the if of Jesus and not the if of fear, the storms come, the trials come, the clouds roll back and get dark. People walk off and leave you. People that love you, Mr. Assistant Principal, they leave you. They can't stand you now. And then you got to still walk in the if of Jesus in that moment.
Y'all. Oh my goodness.
So the question is, what's your if? Is
Talk
it
to
the
him.
if of Jesus? In spite of what's happening around us, we know. See, I've been not doing this. Something just shifted in here.
Oh
and
my
it is feeling a lot like the podcast that went prophetic. But your if is essential. Because there's always two ifs at bay. It's easy to say, if you can help me. And Jesus was like, if? Do you even know who you're talking to?
Who are you talking to?
There is no ifs. He didn't even say with him.
Right.
He said there's no if with believers.
None.
There's no if. So let me deal with your if. And he dealt with the man's if. And immediately the Bible says that once he released the son from the control of demonic influence, there were two deliverances. Fear and control. So the disciples wanted to know why they couldn't do this when the Father had initially sought help from them, the followers of Jesus. And Jesus said something to them that is challenging to leadership but necessary. He said, these kind come out but by fasting and prayer. Was he talking about the fear or the demon?
Wow.
Because there were two deliverances.
There were two.
You didn't help the man with his son nor his if. So we cannot walk in the faith of the kingdom without sacrifice. So everything that the Lord has caused us to go through, to sacrifice, is so we can help somebody else with their if.
Guys, remember that.
Everything we're going through. because it's for people that we do not know,
Mm-hmm.
who have parents that we do not know,
Mm-hmm.
coming from places that we may never visit.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody needs an ambassador.
Oh, jeez.
So you don't have to do this thing alone.
Right.
And if we're going to make impact, we cannot do even what we sense God is calling us to do alone.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a connectivity
Mm-hmm.
to a base
Mm-hmm.
where ambassadors are sent from.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's a base so that you have an answer to the question you asked me earlier. Did you seek help from someone else?
Mm-hmm.
There was no base.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in this season,
Mm-hmm.
with conversations like these,
Mm-hmm.
that God is building the base.
Yes.
And individuals who are like-minded, who understand the power of numbers
Mm-hmm.
and a grace that's on us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I don't have in me what is required to change systems. I ain't that crazy. But I can lead the conversation.
You
I can
can.
go into a room and have a conversation. But it's going to take all of us pulling down these mountains in our area of,
Yes.
of influence.
Influence. Yes. Yes.
So,
Wow.
and we can do it.
We can do
We
it.
got this. 'Cause
We
there's-
can do
there's
it.
no, bam,
We.
can do it.
Yeah. You don't
can
think
do
you
it.
can do it by yourself.
You cannot.
Don't feel like you need to do it by yourself. But we can do it. And we all have a part.
Yeah.
My part may be this platform.
Mm-hmm.
Your part may be national type settings,
Mhm.
local.
Yeah.
But we all have a part.
Yeah. What would it be like if kingdom-minded people like yourself would seek out others who have local podcasts
Mm-hmm.
and have a conversation about topics that our region need for us to put out there
Mm-hmm.
to address a system in the region
Mm-hmm.
that is kingdom mindset
Mhm.
instead of a podcast here, a podcast over there, two over there, three
Wow.
over here, and you've never come together to have a conversation.
Mhm.
Hey, I have a podcast over on Main Street, and I know
Yeah.
you have two, and I know this one. Let's all get together
Let's get
and have
together.
a conversation.
Yes. Okay, podcast people. We
On purpose.
on purpose. Oh my God, y'all! I told y'all this was gonna be good. I don't even. We have definitely went over our time, but honey,
sorry.
it's worth it, and we're so excited that you guys joined us. So I just want to say thank you so much. But I have one last question.
Yes.
When it comes to fear, as a parent, like, what does that look like? What are some things that you've had to deal with as a parent when it comes to fear? Because we know as our kids grow up, we know what we want for them. We know what we prayed for them. And sometimes it may not end up being that. And
Yeah.
so as a parent, sometimes we can become fearful when it doesn't manifest like we envision. And how do you pivot? How do you move then?
So, number one, I think we have to be careful that as parents, we don't replace the demon that's controlling a child and control the child ourselves.
Uh-oh.
I think that fear, first manifestation of fear is the control, is to take control, consume a person because of a fear. So for me, for my children, the greatest fear that I've had is to insulate them from the culture that they're growing up in, and to try to make sure that the culture doesn't get them.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, not controlling them to the degree that they cannot find themselves. I don't want the culture of law enforcement stopping my child on the side of the road in the night because he was speeding. That's been a fear. And teaching him how to handle that in a way
moment.
that doesn't cause him to be harmed because of the culture, not because of the cop,
The
but
culture.
because of the culture. And quite honestly, this culture in our area, this culture of marijuana, and the fact that most of the things that I deal with on my campus is to try to teach that in Florida, marijuana is not legal, when all of our kids are digesting, or some of our kids are digesting, this culture of smoke.
Yeah.
You got smoke shops all over the place.
They're on
like
every corner.
Bubble gum now. And, you can't be naive to think that your child may not either be with somebody or involved in that themselves, because it's like drinking water and they think that it's legal. And so you have to teach all of that stuff out. So, allowing my children to be themselves, but at the same time, having a fear that I don't want the culture to get them, especially where we live. I know what that culture can do to a person as far as limit their ability to excel. And things have changed now a lot. So it's that, and the fear that my children feel that they have to be me. That's the biggest one. That they have to be me. Or, my children really couldn't even go anywhere in Sumter County. Like when they went to movies, they would be coming out of movies, and some of my homies, some of the people I grew up with, would roll up on them and say, "Hey, James, know you here?" She kind of tells stories now. Like, when I hated going out, just couldn't even go to a movie without somebody rolling up on me saying, "Does James know you here?"
Because of who you are. Yeah.
So the fear that they can't even be children to a certain degree because of me, and people were doing that out of to make sure that they're straight.
Sure.
They're not into something, but at the same time,
it made them feel a way.
It made them feel some kind of way to where they then become sneaky. And then the last fear that I think I have as a parent is the fear that I'm so God. I'm so kingdom. I'm so elder. And I'm so church. That they don't feel like they can sit down and have a conversation with me without me throwing God on them. And having a conversation like this and just talking. So I've always tried to keep it real with them. I've shared my stories with them. They don't believe none of them.
They don't?
No, they can't believe that I ever did anything. They know me as elder. When they were born, I was elder.
That's what they know.
They know elder. They don't know the other person. They have no idea and don't. I took Malachi because he wouldn't believe me. I took him to Jackson Street. I parked my truck and took him out. He was in high school at the time, and I said, "We're gonna take a little walk."
Yeah.
We walked down Jackson Street, and the homies came up, and without me even saying anything, they went straight in. Your daddy has not always been who he is now.
Wow.
So let us tell you. And they just went right in. And he couldn't believe it. He was like, wow.
Oh, because he doesn't know anything else.
He don't know none of that. He don't know walking that area, maneuvering through that. He has no earthly idea. So when some of their the kids, the students on campus would meet my stepfather, who was one of the biggest drug dealers in the area, from West Palm all the way up to Wildwood, I could tell when they've met him because they got that look in their eye and they're coming towards me. Yeah, that look. They're like, and I'm like, "You met my stepdad."
Uh-oh.
That can't be your step. Yeah, yeah, that's the man who raised me. No way. he told me he was your dad, and I came to school to find out because I know good and well. Yeah, that's my dad. That is the man who raised me.
Oh my goodness.
Principal Preston, no way.
Can't be.
Can't be. So, and then that opens the door to let them know that education has the power to pull you out of things that you were born into, and that all things are possible. But also they know I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
You are.
I'm not gonna play with you. So, you know, it's just a way to reach these students who are not like us. They're
Right.
non-traditional. They're not afraid of the consequences we were afraid of. I was afraid for the school to even call my parents. They come to the office and in trouble and request for you to call their parents. I mean, I don't understand that. You want me to call your parents? I'll be begging the principal, please don't call my parents.
Yeah.
But I was afraid to get suspended from school. They're not afraid to get suspended from school.
They're not.
They're not even afraid of the resource officer who's on campus.
No.
They're not afraid of that. So
No.
why would I build a culture of fear when they're not afraid of it?
It wouldn't work on them anyways.
No, they'd be like, "Who? What he gonna do?
Oh my God, you sound like
They'd be
you
like,
sound
what he gonna
just
do?
like them.
What are you gonna do?" They're not afraid of that. But what they do want is add a boy and add a girl.
They do.
They will do anything
Because they ain't
for
getting that at
you to
home
be
ever.
recognized
Yes.
and celebrated.
Yes.
So, my whip means nothing to them because they will not be whipped. But my praise of them, it goes into that heart.
I'm telling you.
And I have kids running around campus. Whoever the audience is, if they want to deep dive into the culture, there's 5 areas of culture that we build on my campus. It's leadership and vision. It's academics and attention and attendance. It's recognition and celebration. It's support and interventions, and it's empowerment and employment. So we build those 5 cultures, but the major one is the recognition and celebration, where students will run through a troop and leap over a wall for this little positive green card that says, "We see you." We see you in the smallest way, the smallest positive thing that you do. We're going to celebrate you and recognize you. For 11 years, I have been conducting celebrations in our cafeteria every other week, where I flip the cafeteria and turn it into a club / game room / cafe / green card celebration, where we celebrate these green cards through music and DJing. I haven't DJed in 6 months because the students have started DJing.
Come on.
They
now.
come in. I've decided to really get a real DJ board, the 1s and 2s, and let them DJ because they're musically inclined. So they don't let me DJ anymore. They let me read green cards, but they come in and they do the DJing and run the celebration.
Cool.
So when we're not celebrating, we allow them to participate in clubs. And one of the clubs that we're intentional about offering is a training and trades club, because every student does not intend to go to college, but they do need to know financial literacy, how to manage money, and how to pursue a career and a trade, instead of everybody's going to college because everybody doesn't want to.
And that's okay. That's okay. And don't make children feel like it's a 4-year college, a 2-year college, and if they're not doing that, that's not okay. I sit on the advisory board for CTE, which is career
technical education.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so I'm a huge advocate for that, for parents and educators. Everybody, stop making kids feel like
Please.
they need to go to college. Some of them are barely getting through in high school. Some of them are not test takers. Some of them deal with anxiety. Some of them have learning disabilities. But there is something for them to do.
All right, I got another question, and I'll stop talking after this. I'm going to
Okay.
give the question that doesn't need an answer right now, but I think it's good for the group, especially as it relates to employment, empowerment, and the other is, and the question to the CTE board and others that will listen is, what is our vision and plan of action to create a culture for entrepreneurship? For students becoming business men and women in areas that they're interested in,
Right.
instead of going to work for someone else.
Wow.
So the next area that has not been tapped into is there are students on our campus that are entrepreneurs that have no path to get there.
Wow. And they need help.
They can get there through college. They can get there through careers and trades. But what about the student who want to own their own business? Where's the path for that? And where's the curriculum that guides them to that path?
That's good.
That's the next area for us in this region, is entrepreneurship.
Wow. That's good. That's the question, y'all.
That's the question.
That's the question.
Where's the path for entrepreneurs
Where's the
that
path?
get off the school bus or out of the cars and attend our school, and then after graduating have to try to figure it out on their own?
Wow. Okay. Whew. Okay, I feel a symposium or something happening. Like I do. Like, listen. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like, I know you guys have been charged. I know that you have been energized. I know that you are thinking. I know you are, because I know some of you out there that love around education. And so listen, I won't call any names, but I could. But some of you guys are going to hear from me soon, because I am telling you, God has been dealing with me about a symposium, but I was just like, well, what would it be? What would it be? This is necessary.
Yes.
This is necessary to have this conversation with leaders, stakeholders,
Yes.
and people. So I'm excited. Listen, this was good.
Yes.
This was good. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and my good friend James Presley, Principal Presley. Some of you know him as Coach Presley. Shekinah and Mal know him as Dad. Yolanda knows him as her husband.
Faye.
Yeah, Bae. We know him as one of our leaders in church, and so I'm excited, and thank you again so much.
Thank you.
So guys, remember to share this. Remember to subscribe, and whatever you do, do it on purpose.